Hello everyone. Today I will discuss few MCQs from surgery for NEET PG exam. The first question is, in case of burns, we should refer the patients to hospital immediately in all of the condition given below except inhalational burns, chemical burns, partial thickness burns less than 10% of the total body surface area in the age group of 10 to 50 years, and electrical burns. The correct answer is partial thickness burns. In inhalational burns, chemical burns, electrical burns, we should refer the patient immediately. We will study in which all cases we should refer the burn patient immediately to hospital. First one is, we should refer if patient is having partial thickness burn more than 20% of the total body surface area in 10 to 50 years of the age. Partial thickness burns, but the total body surface area is more than 20% of the body surface area is involved. Whereas partial thickness burn more than 10% of the body surface area in age group of less than 10 year or more than 50 years of the age. Third one is more than or equal to 5% of the full thickness burn in all age group. And in case of inhalational burns, and in electrical burns, in chemical burns, in partial thickness or full thickness burns involving palm, face, sole, genitalia or perineum. It can be partial thickness or full thickness involving these areas. And burns requiring IV fluid treatment. And in case of suspected child abuse cases. Whenever the burn patient comes to hospital, we should look for A, B, C, D, E, F. A means airway, B is breathing, C is circulation, D is disability, E is exposure, and we should start fluids. What are the danger signs that suggest airway burns? One is burnt nasal hair. This is more reliable sign. Burns in face and neck. Burns in a closed room. We should suspect airway injury. And if there is any hoarseness of the voice. In these cases, we should suspect inhalational burn injuries. What is the pathophysiology involved in burns? In burns, there is release of cytokines from the burnt area, which causes vasodilatation and leaky vessels. So, through these leaky vessels, albumin leaks out. Albumin leaks out into extravascular space. Along with albumin, fluid also moves. That's why this occurs in first 12 to 24 hours of the burn. That's why In this period, we don't give colloids. Colloids are avoided because we have leaky vessels. Through this will leak out, causing more loss of the fluid. That's why colloids are avoided in first 12 hours of the burn. What is the management of burn? Main management is we should check airway, breathing, circulation and all. We should expose the parts, and there is something called as fluid management. We should start IV fluids. We will use one formula. Most commonly we will use Parkland formula. The formula is 2 into body weight in kg into total body surface area. So this is, we can calculate amount of fluid required for a burn patient. 2 into body weight into total body surface area. It will come in ml. Through this formula, usually we will give crystalloids. And in this formula, first degree burns are not included. This should be given in first 24 hours. This 24 hours should be calculated from the time of burn. After calculating the amount of fluid, the first half of the fluid should be given in first 8 hours. First half, second half given in next 16 hours. Next 16 hours, we should give second half of the fluid. So there are other formulas also. Apart from Parkland formula, we have Muir and Barclay, Galveston formula, but most commonly we use Parkland formula for fluid calculation in burn patient. And in burn patient, we should measure the urine output. In adults, the urine output should be 0.5 to 1 ml per kg per hour. This should be the normal urine output. 0.5 to 1 ml per kg per hour. This should be maintained. Degrees of the burn. First degree is only epidermis is involved. In first degree, only epidermis of the skin is involved. It is red and tender. And it heals spontaneously without scarring in 5 days. Heals spontaneously. And there is no scar. In second degree burn, there are two types, superficial and deep. In superficial degree, epidermis and papillary dermis is involved. Epidermis and papillary dermis. So this is also red and tender. Blanching is present. And there is blister formation. Whereas deep burn, it is red but less tender than superficial degree burn. In these cases, in this second degree burn has tendency to heal by hypertrophic scar or keloid. There is chance of formation of hypertrophic scar or keloid. In second degree burn, we should do dressing. We can use silver sulfadiazine for dressing, which has good action against Pseudomonas. Second degree treatment, we should do dressing. We can use silver nitrate, silver sulfadiazine. We can use mefenide acetate. Whereas third degree burn, it involves subcutaneous tissue along with epidermis and dermis. In fourth degree, there is involvement of muscles. It is black, charred, and there is fixed capillary staining. The management in fourth degree is early excision followed by skin grafting. In case of circumferential burns, there is chances of formation of compartment syndrome. So the management is hysterotomy. We should give incision and we should release the subcutaneous tissue. When this is said to be adequate, whenever after giving incision and release, the muscle should bulge out. Then it is said to be adequate. In circumferential burn, the whole circumference of the limb is involved. So there is chances of compartment syndrome because of rise in pressure. So we should do immediate hysterotomy. In this, we will give incision through skin, subcutaneous tissue and fascia so that the muscle should bulge out and there is release of pressure. So this is about the burn. The next question is, punctum is characteristically seen in which of the following swelling? Lipoma, sebaceous cyst, dermoid cyst, hemangioma. The correct answer is sebaceous cyst. Lipoma is benign tumor of the yellow fat tissue. So this is the picture of sebaceous cyst. You can see punctum here. This is the black punctum. Sebaceous cyst is a retention cyst. When duct of the sebaceous gland gets blocked, the gland becomes distended with its own secretion, forming a sebaceous cyst. It is due to blockage of the duct of sebaceous gland. So the secretion gets accumulated in the gland and it forms the sebaceous cyst. The secretion is sebum. So it is a retention cyst. It is due to blockage of the duct of sebaceous gland. So there is accumulation of the secretion causing sebaceous cyst. This secretion is called sebum. This is yellowish pultaceous material with unpleasant smell. Yellowish pultaceous material with unpleasant smell. So sebaceous cyst is a retention cyst which is formed after the blockage of the duct. This punctum indicates blocked duct of the sebaceous gland. What are the common sites of sebaceous cyst? It can be seen on scalp, face or scrotum. But it is not seen in palm or sole because there are no sebaceous glands in palm and sole. What are the examination findings of sebaceous cyst? What are the clinical features? Patient will come with complaints of swelling or face or shoulder or back. Patient complains of swelling. Usually it is painless. If it is painful, it can indicate the presence of underlying infection. Patient complains of swelling, solitary swelling, painless swelling, initially smaller in size and gradually increase in size. What are these signs? Solitary swelling seen on back or shoulder or face, usually spherical in shape, consistency cystic in consistency, smooth surface, and blackish spot, that is punctum is seen. This is due to blocked opening of the duct. This is characteristic feature of sebaceous cyst. And sebaceous cyst is fixed to skin. It is fixed to skin. So overlying skin cannot be lifted off the swelling. Whereas in lipoma and dermoid cyst, we can lift the skin of the swelling. This is fixed to skin. And it has consistency, cystic consistency. It can be moved easily with skin, and trans elimination test is negative. Usually it is non-tender. If tenderness is present, it indicates underlying infection. What is the treatment of sebaceous cyst? Treatment. So total excision of the cyst. Total excision of the cyst. We should remove the cyst. If in case it is infected, we should start antibiotics and then we should excise the cyst. We should excise totally. If anything is remaining, it will cause recurrence. Usually it can be done under local anesthesia if it is small. Under local anesthesia, we can excise the cyst. If this is the punctum, we will take elliptical incision around punctum like this. Then we will start dissecting inside till we reach the base of the swelling. So whole of the swelling is removed. So after giving elliptical incision, we will dissect from the sides and we will take out the swelling. Whole cyst should be removed or else it will cause recurrence. What are the complications of sebaceous cyst? First one is infection. If it is infected, the swelling will be tender and there will be local rise of temperature. So the signs of inflammation will be present. Next one is ulceration. So the infected sebaceous cyst can get ruptured and form ulcer over the cyst. Sebaceous horn. This is one of the important complication. Sebaceous horn. What causes sebaceous horn? Slow discharge of the sebum from a wide punctum sometimes become hard to form sebaceous horn. If this is sebaceous cyst, usually it will come like this horn. The sebum gets harder to form sebaceous horn. What is the next complication? Calcification. And rarely it can turn into malignancy. So what is the most common malignancy? Basal cell carcinoma. So in this session we have studied about sebaceous cyst, which is a retention cyst. It is due to blockage of the duct of sebaceous gland. So there will be accumulation of sebum inside. So what are the common sites? Scalp, face, scrotum. What is the treatment? It is most common case that comes to surgery OPD. Under local anesthesia, we can give electrical incision around the punctum and we'll start dissecting along the borders and then we'll take out the entire cyst. And there should not be any remnant. If there is any remaining part of the cyst, it will cause recurrence. And there are complications like infection, ulceration, sebaceous horn formation, calcification and malignancy. And we have studied about burns. when we can refer the burn patient immediately to a hospital, and what is the management, which formula we will use. Most commonly we will use Parkland formula. And what is the management, and what are the degrees of burns, and what is the management in different types of burns. If you like this video, please click like button and share this video to your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you.